What's up, world? Welcome to the New Era Show, where the New Era runs the show. I'm your host, Zach Gassinell, and this episode is sponsored by the #1 lifestyle brand in the world, my company, VBA Clothing. Use code TNE24. That's the New Era 24 for 50% off your purchase at checkout. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and get into it. I've got a really special guest. We always got special guests in here. That's just what we do. But I've got an entrepreneur. I would even say a mogul. Honestly, I would say a mogul, legend on the West Side, really king of the West Side, but king of clubs in general. I got DJ Dario in the building.
Oh, man, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Mr. Dario. Now, for the people who don't know, I want to just kind of tell your story a little bit, tell where you're coming from, and then just get into everything that you do. So, Mr. Dario, I know you're from Arizona. Where were you born and raised?
I was born in Mexico, but I've been here since I was a baby.
Okay.
Yeah, we came here illegally when I was like a year and a half old.
Okay.
And just kind of been doing my thing here since then.
Yeah. Now, what part of Mexico?
Chihuahua,
Chihuahua.
like northern Mexico area.
Got it.
Yep.
Got it. Now, for the people that don't know, where does that break down? Like, people go to Rocky Point, Puerto Penasco. Like, where is that?
So I would say Rocky Point's like southwest. We're a little bit more like obviously south of Arizona, but northern Mexico.
Okay.
About 8.5 hours away from here.
Okay.
Yep.
Got it. Now, have you been back home?
I haven't been back home. I've been to Mexico. I just haven't gone there because there's certain parts of Mexico that you don't want to go to.
Definitely.
And the town where we grew up, that's one of those. And so we'll travel to certain parts of Mexico, like obviously the touristy places like Cancun, Puerto Vallarta, stuff like that. But the specific town that we're from, like our family tells us not to bother even going at the moment because it's just not probably safe for us. So yeah, but I'll go to Rocky Point all the time. Vacation in certain places all the time.
Okay. And then you moved out here to Arizona, and then you grew up on the West Side, Peoria, Glendale.
I went to Maryville High School.
Maryville.
Yep,
Okay.
I went to Maryville.
Okay.
I grew up on 47th Avenue and I guess McDowell.
Okay.
Straight up hood.
Yeah.
Got too crazy, man. I had to move out there. I had to move out of there about 7 or 8 years ago because it was just a little too much now.
Yeah.
But now I live in Levine and graduated from Maryville High School. Went to ASU. Graduated from there with a math degree, minor in business.
Okay.
So yeah, I was a math nerd back then.
Okay, got it. Now, did you play sports growing up, Mr. Dario? Did you know music was going to be the thing for you?
I didn't think music would be the thing. Actually, like music kind of happened like just my junior year in college, and I was always into like I was an athlete, but I was also into academics. I was a big wrestler. I wrestled for about 7 years of my life.
Okay.
But my senior year in high school, I was just really good at math, and they basically paid for everything. I didn't spend a single dime, bro.
Unreal.
I was a freshman in college with like $47,000 in scholarship money in my account after everything was paid. That's how much scholarship money I got off of doing math. So
what did you do? Did you do like STEM program stuff or how like?
Yeah, so I was doing I think it's called the ACE Plus program at the time. I was taking college courses as a junior senior.
Yeah. And
then my senior year, I was like the top math student in my calculus class, and my teacher was like, "Hey man, like I got this offer for you to do some summertime stuff. Going into your freshman year in ASU." He was like, "You want to do it?" I said, "All right, cool." So I signed up for that. I was the #1 student in that.
Wow.
Finishing that program, they're like, "Hey, we have this offer for you.
Yeah.
You don't have to spend a single dime, but you either got to do engineering or you got to do math." So I was like, "Fuck it, let's run it." They showed me how much money I was gonna get, and I was like, and I enjoyed math. It's not like I didn't enjoy it. I was good at it, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So I did that for about 4 years, and then my senior year is when I was like, "Yeah, man, like I don't think that this is what I want to do," because I had moved to New Mexico for about a summer, about 3 or 4 months.
Okay.
And I was doing mathematical and theoretical biology. It's weird as hell. It's crazy. So I was living like a little remote town, beautiful town in New Mexico. It's called Los Alamos.
Yeah.
This is where like they used to do like nuclear testing back in the day, and it's known for doing research and stuff. And I did that, and I was traveling, doing like presentations all over the country and stuff. And I was like, man, like I really don't enjoy this. I really don't want to do this anymore. So I finished my math degree, but then I started messing around with music and doing that type of thing. I ended up getting a radio internship at the radio station Power 98, and that's kind of where like I took a different turn. I walked into the station. I was like, "Yo, this is fun. I really want to do this."
Yeah.
And I basically finished my degree, and I started from zero, from nothing. I was an intern, promotions intern for about 8 months, meaning that I didn't make a single dime.
It's like that high up math degree almost meant nothing walking in.
Almost meant nothing, but I did. I'm not gonna say I didn't take anything from getting my education, because I learned a lot.
Yeah.
Obviously, you learn how to do certain things, and just math allows you to expand your mind and think differently.
Yeah.
So when I walked into the station, I was like, all right, this is what I want to do. I want to do something different. It works for free, broke as hell at that moment. Went from having like 40 something thousand dollars in my account to like nothing, because I wasn't making any money. But worked for free for about 8 months, and then they ended up hiring me as a promotions rep, making $10 an hour at the time, which is still shit. But I really wanted to do it, and then I kept DJing and pushing that. At some point, I ended up getting on Power on weekends. And then we had a sister station, the 95.1, the Latin station at the time, and I ended up getting a full-time radio show Monday through Friday, every single night. I used to mix on air, and they were paying me hourly to help produce the show.
Wow.
So that's kind of where it went from there. Just started doing clubs, and ended up opening up my own businesses.
Right.
I had my own 18 plus hookah lounge. I had a barbershop that I bought at one point, and but been doing a bunch of different things. And then now I'm pushing Sold Out Events, which is like my nightlife, entertainment, events, concerts, things like that. And then AZ Party Rockers, which is like a DJ production business.
Right.
So I guess to say it kind of like radio was the kind of the turning point for me, where it all kind of just began.
Yeah.
And even though I wasn't making a single cent, I was able to learn a lot and make a lot of different connections there that helped me, basically take these stepping stones to get to where I'm at now.
Yeah. Probably growing up, I probably heard you on the radio, 98.3. I probably heard you mixing some stuff. I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I was always on there, man. That was my thing.
Wow. And so promotion for them, what does that look like?
What's that?
What is promotion for a radio station? What does that look like?
So basically street teaming, going out there. Back in the day, you used to do the flavor unit for Power 98, where we used to post up in corners either in the morning or at night.
Yeah.
Give away tickets, give away, stickers, things like that.
Yeah.
One of our missions back in the day on the radio was, to get these stickers and put them on people's cars and try to get them on as many vehicles as we possibly could.
Yeah.
Because that was the way we would brand, And people, when I was in radio 10 years ago, everybody, hey, you got shirts, you got shirts, you got shirts. We got shirts, we got stuff. But let me put this sticker on your window.
Yeah.
So that was kind of one of my things. But we would also be, we were the ones that were doing all the back work at the concerts. Whenever you saw the station set up anywhere, we were the ones setting up the tents, the sound.
Got it.
Sometimes driving artists around. It's a lot of grunt work, man, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
There was times where I was doing 80, 90 hours a week. Like we were working all day, every day in radio. But that allowed me to learn a lot and also be able to build different connections in the entertainment with management, artist managements, nightclubs, things like that.
Yeah.
That till this very day, I still use a lot of those connections,
Yeah. Now, how do you feel, DJ Dario, about the radio stations now? Like, do you feel like stations still play a big role in breaking an artist and music and the culture and stuff?
It's a part of it. I think obviously it's going to be hard for me to say this because I got a lot of friends in radio, but it's not the same as it was before. And I think everybody knows that and understands that.
Yeah,
and even the radio people, they know that they have to, we can't go and hit a corner on 67th and Thomas and be like, hey, like, because people see us posted up, they're going to tune into the station. It doesn't work like that no more.
Yeah.
So, but the stations are doing different things. Like they're also going into digital marketing instead of just relying on selling spots on their air.
Yeah.
Now they're creating like these internal marketing agencies within the station where they help with your digital marketing. Things like that.
Like
so
if you're an artist, they'll break you or you
well,
can pay them.
more like a business. Like,
Okay.
So like, let's just say you're a cell phone store, right?
Yeah.
They'll run ads for 2 weeks, certain times of the day. And then they'll also give you a social media package where they promote and push your brand, but they'll also help you with like digital ads, like putting your branding on certain different apps, websites, things like that.
Okay.
So that's kind of like how they've managed to make that up a little bit because they know that not as many people listen to the radio.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people still listen to radio.
Right.
Radio's everywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Think about all the people that are driving their work trucks. They got to listen to the radio. You know what I mean? Sometimes these stores are bumping the Power 98.3, 101.5, whatever it might be. So radio's still a thing.
Yeah.
But they've definitely had to adapt over the last, 7 to 8 years a lot to make it work.
Okay. Now, Mr. Dario, how did you transition into all the stuff you said, like opening a barber shop, a hookah lounge? I didn't even know you did some of those things.
I've always had these good opportunities just kind of come my way. And so the barber shop, I was getting my haircut at this place called, at the time, it was Elite Barbershop. And the owner's like, yo, he's like, I want to sell my shop. Do you know anybody? And literally I was like, fuck it. I was like, I'll buy it. He's like, you serious? I was like, fuck it, why not? Like, let's try it out.
Wow.
I'm done. At the time, I wasn't married. I didn't have a kid, so I had a lot of time on my hands.
Yeah.
And I got it for a good price, and it was a big space. It was a big shop. So what I did is I bought the shop. I took over the management. Kept the same barber, so I was fortunate there because I had some really good barbers.
Yeah.
And then I turned in half of that barbershop into my office space for my other businesses. So I was there working on my other businesses, and my rent was cheap. I was paying like $1,000 a month for for like almost 2,500 square feet.
Unreal.
It was crazy.
Unreal.
So I had that for about 3.5, 4 years.
Yeah.
Made some good money, and then ended up selling the business. And then I bought at the time Cloud9 was the hookah spot.
Okay.
And we ended up opening that up, and that just came from another opportunity. I was doing my Monday night Latin night with Ray, the owner of the original Cloud9.
Yeah.
And one day I was out of town, and I got the call that the old Cloud9 had burned down. So when I came back, I went to talk to the owner, and this dude was like heartbroken. Obviously, this was his baby.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Hey, let's open up another one." He's like, "I want you and my old business partner Dario to be the partners."
Yeah.
And I said, "Fuck it, let's run it." We did it, ran it for another 4.5, 5 years, and then COVID hit. So yeah, we lost Cloud9 when COVID hit because there's two things: the hookah, the tobacco laws changed. People that were 18 couldn't smoke anymore. So we lost a big crowd there. We couldn't serve those kids hookah anymore.
Yeah.
And then COVID hit, so we couldn't even open. So when that happened, lost the business.
Yeah.
And then just had to adjust.
Yeah.
COVID. I know COVID took a hit. Yeah, anybody in the entertainment industry took a hit on that.
Yeah.
But just had to get through it and learn and keep moving.
Now, Mr. Dario, how does it feel running all these different businesses and basically having success with them? I mean, everything you're starting up, you're basically having some sort of success. Like, how does that feel? And then maybe what are some mistakes or some advice that you would give?
It's exhausting for sure. It's a lot of work, man. But I've always been, pretty motivated and driven when I set my mind to do something. You just gotta, decide to do it and then just go full force.
Yeah.
And I'm still to this day, like we're working on some projects, like now opening up some new projects, businesses.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think the most important thing I've learned doing so much business and working with different people is that you got to build the right team, man. And not just your right team, but your business partner. Like it is so hard to find a good business partner.
Yeah.
You're never, and at the same time, you have to learn to adjust and understand that not anyone is going to work like you. Whether you're working harder or less, like there's always going to be that partner that works the most, or who likes to do certain things a certain way.
Yeah.
So if you're not open to that and having to deal with that, do it yourself. But I've had great business partners. I have great business partners now.
Yeah.
It's just learning to work and adjust. It's a very difficult thing to do.
Yeah.
So
how do you go about finding the right business partner or finding the right team? Like, what are some qualities that you're looking for?
Man, someone, obviously the most important thing is someone that you could trust.
Yeah.
There's a lot of money in any business, and if you can't trust someone to handle your money when you're not there, then that's not going to work out. If there's ever any intuition inside of you that your money's getting messed with, just walk away. But just look for A players. You got to find a couple A players that you can add onto your team, and hopefully those A players help you find more A players.
Yeah.
But it's tough. It's tough to have a really good team. I have a really good partnership and team on my sold out events.
Yeah.
And I have an amazing team on AZ Party Rockers.
Yeah.
They just left the meeting with them right now. I have like 7 or 8 guys that work for me in production, and then I have another guy that helps me sell. And man, everybody's just an A player.
Yeah.
But I'm fortunate. That didn't just happen overnight. I've been working on that business since 2010. So it's been 14 years,
to really build that right team that you're looking
the
for.
right team, the right system, the right foundation, the right clients, you having the right facility to work out of, having all the right tools, the right equipment, things like that. So it's a long process. It's not going to happen overnight.
Yeah. That's good advice for the viewers. Even myself, though, I'm soaking all this stuff up because this is all amazing advice. Okay.
Yep.
Now, Mr. Dario, let's get into the companies that people do know about. So let's do sold out events first. So promotion company, you got people that are under promotion underneath you as well too. Give people a breakdown kind of sold out events.
So basically, it goes sold out events. I do 4 different nights, 3 to 4 different nights a week right now, and then one-off events. Sometimes we partner up with other promotion companies to do events, or sometimes I just decide to do it myself.
Yeah.
So under my team, I have obviously like my media guys, video photographers, door girls, sometimes securities, DJs, and then you have your street promo team.
Unreal.
People that help you, that are good online and can pull people online, or if you're doing an after party for a concert that can actually go and hit the streets.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm still very big on hitting the streets with flyers. Like nobody does that anymore.
Right.
I probably shouldn't be saying this because this is one of my biggest tools where I succeed
Yeah.
is doing the street team handing out the flyers. But
Yeah.
people don't like that shit because it comes with a lot of rejection.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of people tell you no. People don't like to hear no
Yeah.
when you hand them a flyer. But
Yeah.
I've gotten past that, and I've have a pretty good squad that helps me through that. So yeah, so basically DJs, promoters, and then you have the club, and they provide all the staff, bartender, their security,
Okay.
and things like that.
Okay. That's some secret sauce. I use that too, Mr. Dario. So I've got a residential cleaning company. I do the same thing. Just put flyers on people's doors. The shit still works. It seems kind of old school a little bit, but it still works. I mean, it still works. So
you have to. It's marketing is everything. It's social media. It's word of mouth.
Yeah.
It's radio too. It's even shit. Take it back to like newspapers, but it's flyers. It's everything. You got to do everything in order to, or just really narrow down what it is that works the most for you too. Because it could just be Google ads, and Google ads you spend $1,000 a month, and that's what works for you, and that's what makes you a millionaire.
Yeah. Now, Mr. Dario, let the people know where you're doing a lot of these sold out events at. So I know we're obviously on the west side, Monarch. Let people know kind of where you're at.
Yeah. So right now, my 3 guarantee nights are Tuesdays at Margarita, which is like a Latin Mexican night.
Okay.
Thursdays at the Lola, which is a Latin night.
Okay.
And then Fridays at Monarch. Pending, we were doing hip hop downstairs, Latin upstairs, and we're gonna get back to that at about mid-April or so.
Okay.
And then Saturdays at the Lola. But we do a lot of one-offs. We do a lot of official after parties. We did the Vultures, the Kanye Ty Dolla $ign after party. We had Ty Dolla $ign as a special guest 2 weeks ago. We did the official Nicki Minaj after party. We did some St. Patty's stuff last weekend at Westgate with like 800 people. It was crazy. And then we have a bunch of stuff coming up. We have some more after parties coming up. And a lot of Latin type stuff coming up in April, just because it's that time of the year, And like I was telling you earlier, like Latin events are just killing it right now. It's huge. Latin music's growing, whether it's like like corridos, banda, or like reggaeton. So.
Let's dive into that a little bit. And I'm talking to the audience here, all my blacks, me included, though. We got to get more hip to the corridos, man. We got to get more hip to all the different type of stuff going on. So talk to people a little bit, Mr. Dario, just about that scene, the Latin scene.
Yeah. So like I feel like, especially at Westgate, you kind of get a little bit of a melting pot. You get everybody, even at Lola, where it's like we have a banda playing, and you have white people, black people, Mexican people, Native American people, Asian people. And I feel like that's happened a lot more lately because the Latin music is just becoming more of a mainstream now. I mean, you had Peso Pluma on the Jimmy Kimmel show. That's huge. That's never happened before. Things like that. Maybe it has. I don't know, but at least I haven't seen it. So now people are, and you have labels like record labels really looking like Interscope, looking at some of these Latin artists and seeing that these Latin artists are making a lot of noise and making a lot of money. So yeah, with that influence, I feel like it's kind of trickling down to the bottom, and people are just a little bit more open. And on top of that, like at the end of the day, the dudes are going to go wherever the ladies are at. Right. So if you have if you have a reggaeton banda night and all the pretty ladies are there, I don't care if you're black, white, Mexican, Asian, bro, you're going to be there because they're there. So.
And for everybody, that music is fly to me though. You got Kettle G. I don't know if Anuel AA is he.
He's reggaeton.
He's reggaeton as well too. Some of that stuff is really good stuff. The Corridos music, I know Navel, Coricidad, I think is another one. There's some really good artists. So not just black people in general, but everybody going ahead and check some of that stuff out. And then Arizona, Mr. Dario, is also a melting pot and a hub for this music as well too. Some of the top artists are coming out of Arizona, right?
Absolutely, man. Like we were talking about earlier, there's a lot of illegal business being done out here. And,
right.
A lot of these corridos are stories, they're ballads, there's telling someone's story or telling a story. And a lot of the new music that's coming out is about a lot of these people that are here in Phoenix. So, some of these songs are going big, and these artists are starting to blow up out of here. Just recently, which is actually one of my business partners' son, Javi. He's a 19, 20-year-old kid, and dude has like a top global hit right now.
Unreal.
And he's from Phoenix.
Unreal.
You have other guys like Edgardo Nunez, and he's blowing up. He's doing very well. But a lot of these artists, even artists that have hit in the last 4 to 5 years, came out of Phoenix, and you have a lot of artists that are just right now, man, they're just growing and growing. And Phoenix is going to be way more big than I believe than LA or Cali or anything like that in the next 3 to 4 years.
Wow. Is that Is that another market that can kind of compete with Arizona, Mr. Dario? Is California? Is that really the only other market?
For the Mexican regional music,
Right.
I feel like that's the only one, and
Okay.
I feel like we're gonna get way past that.
Okay.
Now reggaeton is different, right? I mean, you have like Miami, you have the East Coast, like, but there is a lot of like there is some reggaeton artists that are coming out of and now you have Mexican artists making reggaeton music.
Yeah.
You have a lot of these Mexican artists making crossover music, like with partnering up with Karol G and making dembow music, which is kind of like a little bit like, I don't know, do you know what dembow is?
No.
So it's like almost like reggaeton, but just a little bit faster.
Okay.
And it's Dominican type music.
Okay.
So you have a lot of these Mexican artists now making dembow music, which is crazy. Like it was kind of weird at first, but now like it's kind of like becoming the vibe.
Yeah.
So I lost my train of thought. Yeah. So I mean, I feel like Cali, at least for Mexican music, is
only other one that really competes.
Yeah, I feel like.
Okay. Is Texas in there anywhere at all, or not really?
Man, I think there's a lot of like Mexican rap artists in Texas.
Yeah.
That I can think of, like that. I can't really think of too many Mexican artists
coming from Texas.
Not at the top of my head right now.
Okay. Got it. It seems like Texas and Mr. Dario is kind of like not that there's anything with blacks and Mexicans over here on the West Coast, but it seems like blacks and Mexicans in Texas are a little bit more united, and they kind of run with the same culture in a sense. So that would make sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay. Now let's get into the hip hop side of things with sold out events. Some of the big artists you work with, YG, you just said Ty Dolla $ign, obviously, Young Jock. I can keep naming them, Kodak Black, all these different people. What's it like booking these people, working with them, dealing with the management and stuff? What's that like?
Sometimes, man, it's a headache.
Yeah.
But it's at the end of the day, I enjoy it. But yeah, I mean, obviously, I guess I could start off like booking artists and doing after parties and all that stuff. Like it's an expensive thing to do, So it involves a lot of planning, a lot of work, and a lot of money as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, sometimes you deal with these artists and sometimes it goes smooth and sometimes it doesn't. Some of these artists are very helpful in helping you pack out your nights or sell your shows out, whatever it is. Some of them just don't give a fuck. They're just here to get their money and be out.
Yeah.
But I say for the most part, I enjoy it all to where the point where I'm not going to stop doing it.
Yeah. Okay. Are there any artists, Mr. Dario, that are more like they get, they're with the people, they network more so with the people, they're seeing, they're outside?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Absolutely. There's some artists that you talk about at the club.
Yeah, at the club.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, some of them, like they're very involved. Like they'll come and they'll interact and they'll get people in their table and sometimes even walk around the crowd.
Right.
Sometimes that's not safe, obviously, but
definitely.
sometimes you'll have artists that'll just come and just sit right there and won't even stand up till it's time to do their one or two songs and then finish their songs and then be out. I have a lot of stories. I won't say any specific names, but I have a lot of stories like that, to the point where it's like, man, I don't ever want to work. I paid this person X amount of dollars. I'll never work with them again. It's not because I lost money. It's just because of the way they acted. Things like that.
That makes sense. Are there some artists, Mr. Dario, that they're looking at it like they'll maybe run some discounts or something because they want to get in front of the people, so they'll give maybe a discount for their booking fee? They're not charging anything too high and they'll work with you?
Yeah, it's also based on relationships too, right?
Yeah,
like if you've done a lot of business with that artist in specific, or maybe one of his artists, or someone that recommended you, like, hey, this is Dario from Phoenix, he does good business, hook him up.
Yeah.
Or maybe you would do your booking through a certain person that helps you out, because that person can also influence the price on that.
Yeah.
But all the time, I mean, some artists can charge $30,000 on the East Coast, and then come over here and charge me 15. But it also depends. Like, are they in the area? Are they in town for a recording session?
Yeah.
Are they in town visiting family? They just want to get a bag real quick. It depends. You might be able to work out a deal if someone's just here for in that at that time.
Okay. You're teaching me a lot of stuff that I didn't know. Seriously. Okay, Mr. Dario. So what's some situations that you've ran into, some stressful stuff that you've ran into, whether it's equipment, artist booking, like what are some stuff that you got to deal with on a nightly basis?
Bro, every day.
Yeah.
Whether I have an artist or not, like there's think about it. You got alcohol involved.
Right.
You have a lot of young people involved.
Right.
Like some people are just, alcohol changes the whole situation,
Right.
But when it comes to artists, man, like I would say every single time, I'm always prepared. Like every single time I book an artist or an influencer, there's always going to be some kind of an issue, whether it's like them be late, or something happened along the way, whatever it is, money, miscommunication.
Yeah.
Perfect example, like Super Bowl weekend last year when we had too short.
Yeah.
We were doing a backyard boogie at McFadden's.
Correct.
And we did like we opened up a guest list for this. It was a very last minute event. I had like 3,000 people sign up,
Right.
which is crazy. Like, like 4 days promo.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like the day of, I'm talking to my partner at the time, and I'm like, "Hey, bro, have you talked to Too Short? What's going on? Like, are we good?" And he's like,
Right.
"Yeah, we're good." I'm
Yeah.
like, have you talked to him? Like, have you talked to his people? Is he confirmed? He's
Yeah.
like, let me double check. So like an hour later, he's like, "Yeah, bro, he's not coming." This is like at 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm like, "What the fuck you mean he's not coming, bro? We have this big old stage set up. We have all these people coming tonight." Like, I knew it was gonna be crazy.
Unreal.
But it happened to be Super Bowl week, so there was a lot of artists in town.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was like a last minute easy fix. I ended up calling a couple people, and then they're like, "Yo, like we could get you YG," because I had him on Monday at True. He had done a show on Monday at in town. We had him for the after party at True, so he had stayed the whole week because it was Super Bowl week.
Yeah.
And we made a deal. I was like, "Bro, just get here at 10 o'clock, and how much you want?" He told me the amount. I was like, "Fuck it, just run it. We need somebody." So I ended up switching all the marketing real quick. As people were showing up, we were telling everybody, because I don't want anybody to be surprised. Like, "Hey, just so you know, Too Short's canceled, but YG's coming." People loved it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
fuck yeah, I'd rather see YG, you know? So ended up going good, and bro, he showed up on time, did his set, and it was a successful night. But things like that happen all the time. We've even done events where like the artist just doesn't show up, and we sold all these tickets, and we got people in the club already. And like, what do you do? You know, happens all the time.
I feel like that's one of the biggest tests as an entrepreneur is this business itself, because there's other companies or other businesses that you're not dealing with that much stress in front of your face, and just so rapidly you got to come up with some. I've seen even on your YouTube show, I think it was King Combs manager or something like that. There was no issue, but I think you guys were just trying to figure out some stuff. There was a misunderstanding. I even took some notes from that myself. The way you just smoothed it over, just calmed things down, just made sure that. And I don't think you're drinking either. You couldn't be, because you're very coherent and
yeah, very rarely do I drink anymore.
Yeah. And it would make sense because you've got to be so on point doing everything that you're doing.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that can happen and go wrong.
Yeah.
Or you're counting a large amount of money because you're paying these artists.
Yeah.
So you don't want to mess that up.
Yeah. Now, Mr. Dario, do you feel like it's worth the money that you're giving the artists? Like, do you feel like a lot of artists are performing really well? They're getting involved with the people, and their performances are good.
Again, it depends on the artist. I've had really good experience with a lot of artists. I mean, yeah, I've had a lot of good experience with a lot of artists.
Yeah.
But then there's those few that you're like, man, like, why did I book that person? But it's not a regret, because at the end of the day, you learn something from everything that, I'm never going to book that person again, or I'm never going to work with the person that booked me this artist because he fucked up.
Right.
Or, you just learn something out of every opportunity.
Okay. Now, last question about sold out events. How do you still maintain staying in shape, still looking good? Obviously, family still looking good. How do you maintain this with living nightlife, basically, with doing all this stuff 24/7?
It's a challenge, man. It's funny that thank you for the compliment, by the way.
Yeah, of course.
I've actually lost 15 pounds in the last like 30 days.
Unreal.
So I've always been a pretty active person, but it got to a point where I was just not focusing on the details of like the food and the workout. And so in the last 30 days, I started a new meal plan. And I started working out every single day.
Yeah.
Maybe a day off a week, but it's definitely a challenge, man, because a lot of people that are in shape, they have regular hours, Day working the day, or maybe they're already wealthy and they don't work. I don't know.
Right.
But they have a 9 to 5 type of job. They go to the gym. They're in bed by 8 or 9.
Right.
Rest is a very important part of being healthy.
Right.
And a lot of the time, I can't get the rest that I need. And if I do, it's not consistent. Maybe I'll sleep 4 hours tonight, 3 hours tomorrow, and then 8 hours on Sunday. I don't know. So
no sleep sometimes.
Yeah, no sleep sometimes. Yeah. I mean, that's what it is, because sometimes we have 4 or 5 events in one day, between both companies.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a challenge trying to stay in balance with both companies, the club, my fitness, my diet, and more importantly, my family.
Yeah.
My daughter, my wife. Trying to spend time with them. We're trying to do all this. So it's a challenge, man. You obviously got to give up a lot of different things. Going out and partying myself sometimes is not really a thing. Maybe not taking vacations, sacrificing time with with the rest of my family to do certain things. So it's a big sacrifice what we have to go through in the entertainment lifestyle while trying to maintain a healthy balance.
Healthy life as well too.
Mm-hmm.
Unreal. Okay, now let's transition into sold out events. Now, I mean, not excuse me, not sold out events. AZ Party Rockers. So, what got you into doing the AZ Party Rockers thing and working on a more corporate level?
So actually, we started AZ Party Rockers back in 2010 with one of my old business partners, and we were just at the time I had started DJing, and people were hiring me or my partner to do weddings or high school stuff. And we talked about, like, man, let's come together and like let's put together an actual company so we can have a team of DJs. And that started in 2010, and it's progressed quite a bit. I mean, now we're doing some pretty big, corporate stuff. Like we were in Vegas for the Super Bowl, doing some production stuff out there.
Yeah.
I work with I do a lot of stuff for Rafi.
Right.
His holiday parties. We just did a stage setup for him like last week, I believe. So we're very blessed. Like I've throughout the years building these relationships with different people or in radio or in the clubs, like because a lot of rich people party too, so meeting these people, like they've been able to like, hey, that's Dario, like he's a good dude, he's going to take care of me for my corporate party. So it's a little bit of a crossover too, because I do a lot of business with people that come out and party as well. So wait, did I answer the question?
Yeah, 100%.
Did I skip it? Okay.
Yeah, 100%. Like even the schools that you're doing, I'm seeing, I think it was something Moon Valley High School, something like that. Valley Vista, one of those schools, Valley Vista.
Yeah.
It's like 2,000 kids there, 1,500 kids there rocking it. Fog machines, lights, everything.
It's like a show, man.
Yeah.
It's like a show. Some of these schools have, really, they obviously pull a lot of kids to their events. Homecomings are huge for some of these schools. Proms, they're doing 800 to 1,000 kids. So it obviously requires a good amount of like lighting, visuals, and things like that, and they have good budgets. So I do whatever I can to help all these schools, to make sure that these kids are having a good time. But schools are fun, man. It's easy, 3-4 hours, go in there, do what we do, and then we go home.
Yeah.
So
now, for anybody that would want to step into anything entertainment, Mr. Dario, especially something like this, give them some insight into like equipment costs, some of the operations costs, going to things.
Yeah, man. For AZ Party Rockers, like equipment's not cheap.
Yeah.
An LED wall alone. Let's just say you're doing, I don't know, maybe 14 feet wide by 8 feet wide, 8 feet tall. You're looking at like $30,000 or so. That's just for the LED wall. One fixture of lighting will cost you up to $1,000. And I haven't purchased stuff in about a year, so like it's probably gone up. I'm actually about to make a purchase here pretty soon, but one fixture costs you $1,000, a speaker another $1,000, a subwoofer $2,000. Like everything's very, very expensive. So obviously that has to do with the reason why you charge a lot of money. A lot of people are like, why do you charge so much to DJ? Like, man, there's a lot. A laptop alone costs a good Apple computer right now is like $4,000.
100%.
So 100%. If I'm charging you $1,000 or $1,500 for a few hours, that's kind of why that is.
That's reasonable.
Plus, you got to think about travel time, labor, like prepping for the event, things like that. So our packages range anywhere from like $1,500 to we could do anything from like $12,000 to $15,000, depending on what you need. If you're doing a big massive stage and screens and stuff like that, yeah.
Okay. And any schools, any businesses watching this, y'all going ahead, tap in with DJ Dario, Mr. Dario. His contact stuff and all his Instagram, social media will be at the end of the show. So if you're looking for a corporate party, you need to book something, going ahead and hit my dude up.
Appreciate that.
Of course. Now let's transition into In the Mix with the Varellas, because that's a great production on it. Like we talked about before, it looks like an MTV or a VH1 reality TV show. How did you guys come up with the concept of, hey, let's make this show, let's give the people more insight of our life?
So it kind of goes like anything else. Like, hey, like, you're hanging out with your friends or your family, like, hey, we should do our own reality TV show. Like, I think a lot of the groups or people that are in the business, like, it'd be so cool to like, to showcase our lives. And we talked about it for a long time, like as a joke, kind of thing, oh, we should do it, but we never really did.
Yeah.
And then obviously, I met my partner and we had a baby. And the main reason why we really, really made it happen and did it is because of Gabriel Glimpse. I am Glimpse. He's our producer. He's a great content creator. Works on makes videos, photos, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But he's the main, and he's also a really good friend of mine. And he's the one who really made it happen. Had it not been for him, we wouldn't have actually taken the step, because creating a TV show or even a blog style type of channel, like it's a lot of work. You gotta come up with the ideas, shoot it, edit it, which is crazy hours, And so me personally, I don't have the time to do that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So he's the one who actually like produces the show and directs it and edits it and does all that stuff.
Wow.
You know, and so if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have actually made it happen because it is a lot of work.
Yeah.
Now we help him obviously with being in the show and actually like going through the edits and stuff. But like this guy does a lot of like the majority of it, and he's the main reason why we were able to make it happen. You know, so I always make sure I give him credit for that because it's not easy to add some a task that big when he already has a lot of shit on his plate, you know?
Yeah.
So
now it doesn't seem like you guys have to come up with any concepts for the show. It just kind of seems like family life, just normal life, everything going on.
Yeah. So, you know, we all know that a lot of these shows are scripted.
100%.
You know, they script them and that's just what reality TV show TV is. But I told Gabriel I told Glimpse and my wife, I was like, if we're gonna do this, I wanna make it as real as possible. Like I don't want to fake anything, you know. Obviously we're gonna plan to record a situation and whatever happens, right? But I don't want to script anything because I don't want to feel like I'm faking it. So that was my belief from the beginning. We continued to do that. The only real difficult part about that is that it's hard to get a lot of content because we're recording real situations, you know. Anything that you've seen in the show, we haven't scripted anything. It's been real. You know. So that's why we're in so far in between seasons because we're building the content, gathering things. There's not always fights at the club every single night. Me and my wife aren't always arguing, you know, or we're not always at the doctor or going through this and that. So we have to make sure we gather the right amount of content before we can put a show together and then finish a season. So that's definitely been the challenge because we're making it real. It's not fake. We're not scripting anything, you know.
Because if you did script it, it'd be easy to just go out and say, okay, hey, let's do a fight here. Let's act like we're going here. Act like
we'd have drama in every single episode. You know.
Yeah.
And I feel like that would kind of bleed through, and people would realize that that's not real. That's not really happening.
Yeah.
You know. So.
Do you get people, Mr. Dario, that see you on the street and like, hey, I saw you guys on In the Mix with the
Fellas? Yeah, it's happened. It's happened. You know, me and my wife were at shows or concerts and like, hey, that's Dario. I seen your show, and it feels good, man. Awesome. You know, we're not killing it on the following yet because it's still an early show, but to see the kind of impact that we've had on people and. People will come up to me like, hey man, what's up? What's season 3? I'm waiting for waiting to see the next episode, the next show.
Hell, I'm waiting for season 3 right
now. Or they're like, my mom loves the show and she's waiting for you guys to do show episode or season 3, and I'm like, it's coming. So it's had a little bit of an impact within our community, and that's super dope, and that's how I know that there's something there, you know. So that's why we haven't given it up, and we're still pushing for it.
Okay. And the other thing I like about the show too is it's not like 30 minutes, 40 minutes. It's a quick, like you can get through a season. The same time you're watching Netflix, watching a couple shows, you're already almost through the whole season. Exactly. It's like 13, 15 minutes. It's very easy to digest, and it's easy to just keep going through episode.
Exactly. That's what we realized, that, you know, just doing a little bit of research, we realized anywhere from like 10 to like 13, 14 minutes is like where we need to be at to put good quality content out there. So, you know, people nowadays, people's attention span isn't very long.
Very short.
So you have them for a few minutes, and if you don't hook them, you're going to lose them. So we try to put 2 or 3 different scenes in each episode and leave it at that.
Yeah, that's smart. Very smart. Okay. Now, Mr. Dario, next question for you would be, I guess it would kind of be about like the DJs or maybe people coming up under you. Like, how do you go about picking people under you, DJs? Do you have some DJs on your roster right now that are getting ready to break through, or they're working with the artist or something like that?
Yeah, man. So I have I work with a lot of different DJs, but under my team I have DJ Torres, DJ Southpaw, DJ Johnny S. Fuck, if I forget someone, I feel so bad. Johnny S, myself, and then we have other DJs that we use for our different events and things like that. And some of them are probably, you know, DJs that come with the other promotion teams and things like that. But the main DJs are Torres, Southpaw, and Johnny S. And those are the guys I use for most of my clubs, most of the private gigs, the corporate stuff, the high school stuff. So some days we might put them at a high school from 7 to 10, and then like, yo, rush over to the club. You got to go on 11 to 2 type of situation, you know? So I try to keep it minimal because I want to be careful who I work with. I want to make sure the guys that I'm putting on my events are good DJs. And I want to make sure that they're also happy making money. Because if I'm hiring 6 DJs instead of 3 and splitting the money, they're not going to be happy, you know? So I try to make sure everybody's getting paid.
Now, this will be a good segue, Mr. Dario. What makes a good DJ? Because people think they can just get up on there, play whatever hits or whatever, but there really takes skill to entertain a crowd.
Absolutely. It's skill, but for nightlife and clubs and parties and things like that, more importantly is knowing what to play and when to play it. You know, you can't just play an hour of the new hottest shit. It's not gonna work. People don't want to hear that. People want to hear the new shit. They want to hear the old shit. They want to hear, they want to hear something that they haven't heard before. You know what I mean? So it's just a balance of figuring out what to play and when to play it. How long? I just had this conversation with my guys the other day because one of my guys wants to become a DJ and he was asking us for some advice on how to like a specific song, and I'm like it really just depends. He's like, his question was, how long do I let a song play for? And it really depends, because if it's a new song that's hot, you might be able to let the whole thing play. But if it's a song that was hot 2 years ago, you might only let it go into the hook and verse, and then you got to be out, or verse and hook, and then you got to be out.
Yeah.
So it really depends on the song, and with that being said, you have to understand music. You have to understand the song. You have to understand your crowd. If you can read a crowd and you know your music, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Now, of course, you got to know a little bit of cutting, blending, things like that.
Yeah.
But in a nightlife, that's not as important as knowing what to play and when to play it.
Got it.
Now, if you're a turntablist and you're cutting and you're doing shows like that, that's a whole different ballgame, you know?
That's totally different than just nightclub playing and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Wow.
I personally, I don't scratch when I'm in the club.
Okay.
People don't want to hear you, fucking scratching for 30 seconds straight, you know? Here and there, it might be okay, but, people just want to hear the music.
Yeah.
They want to hear the original song. That's another mistake that I think a lot of DJs do in the clubs is they play, let's just say it's a hip hop banger right now.
Yeah.
And then they download a remix version that goes into like some EDM type shit.
Right.
This happens a lot in Old Town, in my opinion. People don't necessarily like that. When you hear a song, you like it, you want to hear the same shit in the club. You don't want to hear a remix. You're like, fuck, why did he switch it up?
Yeah.
So that's one of the things I try to do when in my sets is play the original songs.
Yeah.
Unless it's like a popular remix song, then you could get away with it. But I feel like that's a big mistake that a lot of DJs like, this sounds dope, I like it, I'm gonna play it, and everybody else is gonna fuck with it. That's not true. That's not gonna work all the time.
How much, Mr. Dario, does music and the right sound play into how the vibe is going to be at night if people are going to come to the club? Like, are people really like, okay, I'm going here, and if the music's trash, I don't even want to be in here?
Absolutely. 100%. Especially if you're going to like places like Westgate.
Yeah.
Because they have options. If they walk into your spot and your spot's dead, or the music just ain't it,
yeah,
or the DJ is on some weird shit,
yeah,
they're gonna walk right out and go next door. So it's music is super, super, super important when it comes to making sure that that your club is packed and popping.
Yeah.
You know, and at the end of the day, you got good entertainment, you got good energy, you got good vibes, you got good people on the mic. People are gonna stay. More people are gonna come. They're gonna stay.
Yeah.
And what does that result in? Higher numbers, money. The club's happy. They're making money. We're making money. We're gonna keep going. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So 100%. 100%.
Okay, that plays a really big role into it.
Super
almost more than the girls or the food or the drinks or whatever.
Yeah, man. Honestly, like it all starts with the music, I think.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, because you promote. Let's just say you promote a hip hop night, right?
Yeah.
And if you're not putting the word out that it's a hip hop night and people like hip hop, they're not gonna come. You know, or if it's a banda night, like this is the new banda night on Thursdays at Westgate, which I currently have.
Yeah.
People be like, oh, I love banda. It's Latin. It's on the west side. I lived on the street. I'm gonna go there. And if they get there and you're not playing the shit that they want to hear, because that's what you promised them, they're gonna leave. You know.
Yeah.
Now you add girls to that, and you add some good drinks.
Yeah.
The vibe, they're staying. They're there every week.
Yeah. Okay. Now, Mr. Dario, what is, in your opinion, what area is kind of holding the crown for clubs right now? Is it Old Town? Is it Mill Avenue? Is it Westgate? Is it downtown Phoenix?
Man, I think everybody has their own niche. Like,
Okay.
I feel like, Old Town's Old Town. You know what you're gonna get when you go there.
Yeah.
But there's everything. Downtown has everything. There's hip hop. There's Latin. You have places like Valley Bar. They do a variety of different type of nights. You have a lot of little bars, hookah spots like Samsara. They do the R&B Thursdays, things like that.
Yeah.
Westgate. I mean, there's always people at Westgate.
Yeah.
I love doing stuff at Westgate because there's always a little bit of foot traffic.
Yeah.
And when you do what you do with you bring your own crowd plus with whatever's already kind of going there.
Yeah.
And a lot of people that we know live nearby.
Yeah.
It's a kind of an easier win for us. It's not easy, but it's easier for us.
Yeah.
Whether instead of me trying to go to Mill Avenue and trying to do a Latin night over there where I don't have that many contacts over there, no one's going to go out there probably on a Thursday night to hear Mexican music, you know?
Yeah.
But if I do it on the West Side where I grew up and I have my promoters that live out there and we know that people are out all the time, it's going to be easier to have a successful night there.
Okay. Mr. Dario, have you ever gotten into owning a nightclub yourself? Is that something that you would do?
I had 50% ownership in Cloud9. Yeah,
Unreal, man.
yeah,
That's unreal. Okay,
yeah.
okay.
So that was 50% mine. But we only did hookah. It was 18 and up.
Okay, yeah.
And people tell me all the time, like, hey man, when are you gonna open up your own spot? And I've been in the industry long enough to know how much work and stress it is to own a club and to run operate a club. And I personally don't want to own a club. I'm okay doing what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
If anything, if I would ever get close to owning something like that, it would be like a small little bar with just show music,
Yeah.
something with low overhead, maybe one security guard, where I'm not having to deal with having to book artists or, because I want to enjoy that. If I'm going to operate on a club, I want to enjoy that.
Yeah.
If I'm going to be a promoter and do that, I want to enjoy that. If I'm having to do both, promote and book artists and operate a bar, it's not going to be fun for me. I already know that. Plus, there's a lot of liability with owning a venue.
Yeah.
You have a liquor license. You have
Right.
to be careful who you serve liquor to. Even adults, you can't overpour. If something happens, you're screwed. Fights, all kinds of situations can happen when there's alcohol involved. So the beautiful part about doing what I do right now is I get there at 9:30. I'm home by 3 a.m. When you operate, own, manage a club, you're not gone. You're not leaving there till 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, maybe a little bit later, and you have to worry about liquor orders and all kinds of shit. So it's nice what I have going on right now. So, but
is it a decent business to get into, Mr. Dario? Like with the overhead and stuff, is there profit to be made?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. If you operate a club the right way or a venue the right way, you can easily become a millionaire. But the issue now is that a lot of these people are getting into owning venues or operating these clubs without having any kind of experience and just kind of winging it and figuring things out. And I've seen it happen a lot. This person does, I don't know, they sell houses.
Yeah.
I have money. I want to buy a club. Everybody wants to own a bar or club. Everybody. That's like a lot of people's ultimate dream is to own a club for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But then they actually realize when they get into it that it's not that easy,
Yep.
And packing clubs out 7 days a week to make money is not an easy thing to do. You'll be lucky if you're a nightclub and you pack out 2-3 times a week. You're lucky for the most part. That's why, going back to what I was saying, if I were to get into the bar nightclub business, I would own a small little bar.
Yeah.
That maybe fits 75, 100 people.
Yeah.
And I don't have a high overhead. My rent isn't that expensive. My one bartender, one security guard, and you're good,
Yeah.
All you need is like 20, 30 people there at night and you're making money. So, yeah.
You're putting me onto something too, because that makes sense. It's not just Friday, Saturday. You got to make money all throughout the week. So you got to keep doing. That's where all these different nights are coming in at, because you've got to have something to bring people in during the weekday. This is making sense to me.
Absolutely. Okay. That's why I believe Westgate places are so successful, because they operate as restaurants during the day, and they're open 7 days a week.
Yeah.
And on top of there being a lot of events going on at Westgate, like there's concerts and games and all kinds of stuff.
Right.
There's always people there. So they figured out a way to make money during the day and also make money at night. And so, when you have this club that's just in the middle of nowhere and there's nothing else around, how do you get 300-400 people there, 5-6 times a week? It's hard.
Yeah.
So
now, Mr. Dario, can people still see you DJing at all? I know you've done some big, like, what are some of the big stuff you've done? I know you've done Gold Rush. Yep. I'm sure you've probably done some of the more big EDM concerts. Can people still see you out DJing?
Yeah, so I play a big role when it comes to organizing my events. Yeah. But I drop sets I would say about 80% of the Saturdays at Lola, at least an hour and a half.
Wow.
Every now and then on Thursdays.
Yeah.
And obviously, when I get booked for private or corporate events, if they request me, then I'm there all the time.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
And then, so bring me through. What's it like DJing like a Gold Rush or like DJing some of these big events?
It's that was nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Even though I was on the side smaller stage, I was like, shit. Like they're asking me to, and they said play whatever you want.
Yeah.
So it's not like they wanted me to just play EDM music, but I did have to prepare a set for that.
Yeah.
But it was definitely nerve-wracking, and when I got there, they put me in this mobile truck stage thing.
Yeah.
And I was up high, and it was pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. I started DJing. When I started DJing, there was nobody in the dance floor.
Yeah.
About 30 minutes in there, I had about 150 people or something like that.
Right.
So I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like this actually, I'm doing my job,
Yeah.
But it was cool because I got to say that I was a part of that, part of my resume.
Yeah.
Once I got done, I got to go see the rest of the show and enjoy the big stage. So that was a
Yeah.
cool experience.
That's like being an artist at Rolling Loud or something like that. Just being a feature piece. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
That's a huge deal. Okay. Anything else, Mr. Dario? Any advice that you would give to people, young people in general, maybe stepping into entrepreneurship, or just any advice in general?
Man, like I said, just be careful who you work with. Find the right people to work with. Work hard, man. Don't give up, and don't let social media give you the wrong perception about life. I think a lot of people are rushed to get to a certain point because they see, that everybody's making money or that everybody's successful or they're traveling. Like, it's not all real,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a promoter. Like, that's what we do. We make shit look prettier than it really is. That's the way everybody does it.
Yeah.
And just keep working. And if you, find something that you enjoy and keep pushing and don't give up. Cause I think a lot of people nowadays, they're so quick to, they want quick gratification,
Yeah. Yeah.
and just know that anything that's like worth actually accomplishing is going to take time.
Yeah.
I've been at it for, 15, 16 years now, and I'm still not where I want to be,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. Okay. Mr. Dario, one of my last questions for you would be whether it's a bottle girl, a promoter, whatever the case may be, is there good money to be made? Is there a hustle that can be made for young people like myself in the nightlife scene?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it goes back to, how much work are you really willing to put in?
Yeah.
Bottle girls, shit, they make more money than me sometimes. Bro, like you made what? You made $2,000 tonight? Like, that's crazy. And that's real.
Yeah.
It happens,
Yeah.
As a promoter, the same thing. You bring a lot of people to the club.
Yeah.
You get paid per head or however you get paid, or you book a table that spent $10K, you're making money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Same thing as a DJ. DJs can also make a lot of money. Obviously, you got to build your brand
Yeah.
and your reputation. But when you get to a certain point, you can make money for just doing clubs. You could literally do 2 or 3 clubs a week and you're set.
Okay.
But that also takes time and work, relationships, meeting the right people.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, Mr. Dario, do you see yourself being in this field and in this lane forever, or do you see yourself maybe taking a step back but still having the company?
Yeah, so right now, people ask me this question all the time, because I'm getting older now, and I tell them, like, I'm still making money.
Yeah.
Like, why would I walk away? The moment that I stop making money or that I feel like I'm going down, I'm gonna walk away.
Okay.
But in the meantime, I'm still good. I'm still good at this. I still got the relationships. People call me all the time to still work with them. So why would I walk away from something that's working and that I enjoy?
Yeah.
Now, with that being said, that doesn't mean that I'm not working on anything on the back end. I have other projects, other investments, things that I've invested in. Like, I've invested into a laboratory. It's called Transparent Labs, where they do where they do marijuana testing.
Wow.
So that's one of my investments.
Wow.
I wasn't able to talk about that too much in the last year, but we just launched a couple months ago, and now that's like, hopefully it's going to start producing some money here pretty soon.
Wow.
And that's a big deal. I mean, that's huge,
Yeah.
So that's one of the projects, and then I'm working on a couple other things that I just started, launching here in the last couple of weeks, and you'll be hearing about it in the next couple of months, hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah.
But those are kind of my plans,
Yeah.
and my retirement plans, because
Okay.
I'm not gonna stay doing nightlife forever. My DJ business, where we're doing corporate parties and things like that. Yeah, like, could do that for another 10, 15 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Okay. Now, how do you feel about Arizona just as a whole? Do you feel like the scene is growing? How do you feel about a lot of different people moving here? Do you feel like it's only up from here for Arizona?
I want it to keep growing.
Yeah.
I want it to keep growing because more people that come here from all blocks of life,
right,
the more opportunity, the more business for us. We're already here. We already have our foundation. So all we have to do is grow on that.
Yeah.
So if I'm doing nightlife events, if I'm doing shows, if I have my DJ business, I'm already here.
Yeah.
More people are coming here. It means more people are going to need me for nightclubs or for whatever it might be.
Yeah.
So I'm with it, man.
Yeah.
Now, things are kind of getting a little crazy in certain places in the city, but
right.
We can only do so much, but growth is good.
Yeah, definitely. Now, Mr. Dario, let the people know where they can find you at, any other upcoming projects, just everything that we've got going on.
Yeah, man, just follow my Sold Out Events page, Sold Out Events AZ, DJ Dario Music, AZ Party Rockers on Instagram. If you just follow me, DJ Dario Music, you'll see everything on my profile, and I post pretty much everything that I'm doing all the time or upcoming events. But looking forward to this year, and hopefully by 2025 we'll be millionaires.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes,
That's the
sir.
goal, man. That's the goal.
Yes, sir. Definitely, definitely. For all the viewers out there, this was super motivating. I got a lot of game and jewels myself, Mr. Dario. So I really appreciate you sitting down. We're gonna get ready to get Mr. Dario out of here, though. He's got more events going on. We got to get him up out of here. Nightlife is calling. So this is Zach Gastineau, the New Era Show, where the New Era runs the show. Jimmy, going ahead, take us out of here. We're gone.